Hi friends, time for another furniture makeover. Today we're going to be doing this pretty carved wood shelf, and I know some of you would just rather keep it stained wood. Believe me, I would too, but it had a lot of wear and it needed a new look. So I decided to give it a good cleaning, and here I'm using a kid's toothbrush. I love using kids' toothbrushes for cleaning pieces like this that have lots of crevices and grooves. Kids' toothbrushes are soft, so they're not going to hurt your piece, but they are going to get into all those grooves and get all the dust and muck out of them. That was an electric toothbrush. I did not turn it on. I just used the bristles to brush the piece. Next, I moved on to priming my piece. This is Dixie Belle's Boss in clear, and I put 2 coats of this on. This will just block any tannins that might be in the wood that could bleed through onto my finish. So after 2 coats, I let it dry overnight, and then I move on to the next step, which is drop cloth. This is a pretty light white color, and this will be the first of 3 layers that I put on this piece. First, I do the drop cloth all over, and then I will be moving on to the crackle. Once the layer of white was done, I moved on to filling in these little crevices with my next color. I'm using Savannah Mist by Dixie Belle, and it's a really soft, pretty light blue. And this piece is going to be distressed. Some of the wood is going to be showing through, so I don't need to completely cover these crevices, but I wanted to go ahead and put the blue on them before I went to the crackle step. Then I'm using Crackle. This stuff is so fun to use. It gives such a unique look, that kind of worn and farmhousey distressed type look. You have to give it a good stir first. It goes on clear, and you don't want to overwork it. You just put a nice coat wherever you would like the crackle. You can put crackle over the whole piece, or you can put crackle in just a couple places where you want that more distressed look. It's a really fun one to play around with. And here's what it looks like as it's dried. You can see that clear crackle effect. It's going to look really nice and chippy when it's done. Then you're going to go over it with your next color, which for me, this is Savannah Mist. And this is where you really don't want to overwork it. You just move in one direction and move on, because as soon as you put that paint on, that crackle will start to work. And you can even see it starting to work here. I just kind of brush the paint on and move on to the next area. And full coverage you don't have to worry about, because again, this is kind of a chippy, distressed look. It doesn't have to be perfect. Here's what it looks like when it's all dried. So beautiful that you can see the light white shining through underneath the blue. Then to add to the distressed look, I took some sandpaper and just distressed in some areas, especially over those wood carvings, to see some of the wood shining through underneath and to really highlight all the carvings so you could see them nicely. Then as a last step, this is totally optional, you don't have to do it, but I wanted to seal the entire piece, so I was using Easy Peasy spray wax to seal it. And then I'm also going to use Dixie Dirt to just highlight some of the crevices and places to make those carvings pop even more. Dixie Dirt is super easy to work with, and so is Easy Peasy spray wax. With Easy Peasy spray wax, you literally just spray it on, let it sit for a couple seconds, and then buff it in with a pad or a cloth. And then while it's still kind of wet and tacky, you can use the Dixie Dirt and just lightly brush it into any crevices and areas where you want some shadowing, and it'll make the piece look really nice. So that is what I am doing here, and then the piece will be all finished. And here is how it turned out. So soft and beautiful, a totally different look than how it started. I love when I get to save a piece and leave it in its original wood form, but sometimes that's just not possible. And I really like how this turned out, and I think it would be a really beautiful piece hanging in someone's home. So let me know what you think and if you learned any new techniques from this video. See you later, guys.